Welcome to the Quant Room, the stories behind the data.
What's going on, everyone? How's it going? Happy New Year's, everyone. We're right back with it with another episode of the Quant Room. This is episode, I believe, 7, and it's powered by Spikeet. And once again, we're here to get the stories behind the data. But today, we might not be getting exactly that. We might be getting the story behind the platform today. Today, I have a very special guest, Jared Broad from Quantconnect. He's the owner of Quantconnect and the creator of Quantconnect. So for you guys who are looking for a platform and trying to get some introduction to what you should be using to get started, backtesting, beating the market systematically, we have someone who actually created a software, and maybe we can talk about some development of systems, how these tools help you, and kind of his thought process behind even developing such a tool. And, why it's even open software. But before we get into that, let's just try to get Jared's background for you guys who's not familiar with him, and then move from there. So Jared, I guess just give me a quick summary of like, what did you do before you really started Quantconnect? How old is Quantconnect in general, and kind of what pushed you there as a trader?
Yeah. Hi, Marcus. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on. I'm a New Zealander, originally a biomedical engineer. Mm-hmm. I have always been into the markets though, and I've been trading since I was like 16. So I've always had this fascination, and then time goes on and you're watching the markets and you're coding, and you're watching the markets and you're coding, and they just kind of merge together one day. So I've always been interested in sort of automating some of that trading as well, and seeing biomedical engineering is a lot about signal analysis. Okay. It's about sort of analyzing the body's signals and modeling the body. Wow. So the cells and the organs and how they work. So it's just like cognitive trading. It's just
that is a crazy comparison. I think, well, none of us are, well, it's not a lot of us that are going to be biomedical engineers, so we don't know, but that's a good way to put that. Okay.
Yeah, the parallels are huge, and the technology you use and the techniques you use are basically identical. So it was always a passion. And about 2009 to 2011, I started a hedge fund doing this, and started building the technology platform and raising capital from friends and family, and then going full-time building these trading algorithms and running them. And I was like young and single, and I had some savings. So it was like I had everything going for me, and I was working like 80 hours a week, and it still took like 18 months or so just grinding, building all this tech stack. And I just realized the enormous like barriers to entry that there are for quant trading. It's just so hard to get into.
Yeah.
So after we got the algorithm running and put it live, and it was running live for about a year, and I learned a lot about how to do it, and the infrastructure and the data, and all the things that you need to put together a quant trading stack. And then we formed Quantconnect, and that was about 12, 13 years ago now. And we've just been grinding and building and building. So now it's a really world-leading quant trading infrastructure. It's just nothing like it in the world.
Yeah, I would agree. That's actually amazing. I did not know that this was originally started as kind of like a hedge fund, and you was building the technology. So like, when you were making Quantconnect, what type of issues were you trying to address, or was you like just more focused on trading like that hedge fund? You was like, you just realized in the middle of it, you're like, this is an amazing tool. I should let other people use this.
No, I so many issues, but I'll come back to the issues. But the your other thing was like, I had an algorithm, and it was running live, and I was thinking, okay, what do I need to do now? And it was, okay, I need to go and raise funds and scale up the capital and fund this algorithm some more so that I can sort of grow it. Oh. And I was in Chile, because once you've got an algorithm, that's only half the job. You need to sort of build a business around it and build capital and raise in compliance and all the rest of it. And that did not sound appealing to me at all. I was like, I don't want to raise capital. I don't want to do compliance. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So I just stuck to the tech, and I was like, okay, let's turn this into a tech project. Because I was in Chile, and fundraising was just horrible at that point. Mm-hmm. But during the build process and during the process of getting the system running, I started, for example, gathering data from the stock market and recording it to a disk. And then I'd have like a week's worth of data on disk, and then I'd start building an algorithm to that week, and then run it on the next day of data that came available. And it was just horrible. And it was just completely overfitted the first week.
Yeah.
So it's just like stuff like getting a real clean, large data library so that you can backtest over a long period with lots of different market conditions, making it so that you can just focus on the algorithm. Because in reality of the 2.5 years that I was building this tech stack and these algorithms, 95% of my time was spent building the infrastructure, gathering the data, cleaning the data, building the connection to the brokerages, debugging and adding different order types, building user interfaces like GUIs to the back end. And none of that adds any value to like your returns.
yeah, it doesn't. But it added value for Quantconnect and the people that's using it for sure.
Now, yes, now, yeah. But now people repeat that wheel over and over. Like everybody goes in and they all want to build their own stack, and then they all build the same connection to interact with brokers or some other brokerage. And it's just a massive waste of effort. So we built it and we open sourced like 90% of it. So we wanted to try and build this operating system layer for quant finance and hope that we could save all these people repeated effort on trying to rebuild their own quant trading stack over and over.
Yeah, that's a very noble goal. I can tell you. So short story here. I think I told you before that I have a group and we're like a stack as well. We try to, develop systematic. We use Quantconnect for like a year and a half, and then we moved to trying to build our own.
Oh, yes.
Just like you're trying to say, you got people to avoid. And I feel like that's a very common thing. I guess from your perspective, why do you think people are still trying to build their own backtester per se?
People don't know what they don't know yet. So it seems all easy on the surface, but then people hit the first obstacle, the second obstacle, the third obstacle, and then they start coding away. And it's like, before you know it, when you click sign up for free on Quantconnect and start coding your algorithm, it's like 100% alpha. Your time is being spent 100% on alpha. But then like, as you start building your own stack, it just gets chewed away. And before you know it, you're spending like 95% of your time on building that infrastructure and not actual alpha search. So it's very common and everybody does it. And then sometimes people go, they build their own and they come back. And it's okay.
Yeah, that's most likely what we're going to do. I mean, like, it's exactly what you said. We've been building for 2 years and not as much testing as we would want. So very common issue. I guess what kind of got you into systematic trading? You talked about the coding, sitting next to the computer, how you went about that, but how did you exactly, was it discretionary first and then you're like, I'd rather do systematic? Like, how did that go about?
Yeah, I was basically discretionary trading and too emotional about it. And I had all those signals and how to process them in my head. So I just thought, like, I got to stop discretionary trading and start doing algorithms and quant trading. And back then it was basically just TradeStation, MetaTrader, and NinjaTrader. Those 3. And they were all C#. They're all closed proprietary languages. So the core of them is C or C#, and then they've got some of their own APIs on top. We wanted to make something that was just pure language. So we've got pure Python and pure C#. There's no like proprietary language on it. You can import all of the libraries from those different ecosystems. So you can get TensorFlow and Keras and all the cutting edge Python libraries. You can pull them in and use them for your development. And there was nothing like that. And they were all closed source. So we wanted to build something that was open.
So that's what led to the software being open then, right? It was just that ideal behind, or was it something else?
Yeah, the quant operating system I didn't think would fly if we were closed source. So like that would be like Windows. We wanted to be more like Linux. So we wanted to, and also that gives a lot of trust to how the code runs. People can trust it more because they can see how the code runs. And then also that even if Quantconnect isn't around tomorrow, the code will be. And so your investment strategy can continue using the code base of Lean, the open source.
So let's transition and talk about this. obviously you have Quantconnect and you have Lean, and then you have I think it's Lean CLI, right?
Mhm.
Well, let's take a step back. So you created Lean, and just talk about Lean and what it can do for someone like me who's doing systematic trading, and what's the purpose of it.
Yeah, just big picture first. There's Quantconnect Company,
Mhm.
and Quantconnect Company has created Lean, an open source project, which is the
Right.
kernel, the algorithmic trading engine, and that's just code in GitHub. So we're constantly working on Lean. We're constantly improving it, pushing new fill models, brokerages, data sets. We're constantly pushing it all to the open source.
Yep.
But code by itself is a little hard to use. So people are struggling to use Lean. So we made the Lean CLI, which is a pip package. So you can just go pip install Lean, and then it automatically pulls down Docker containers with Lean pre-installed, ready to go. And so you can just go Lean backtest, blah, your project. And then it'll just run the backtest and give you the results. But if you've ever worked with like a Python environment with 100 conflicting libraries, it's a real challenge to get all of these Python packages to like work together and not fight.
Yeah, so Lean CLI is more like a standardized package put together that when you use Lean, you might be importing tons of libraries and pulling them in that they can be kind of, I guess, clashing, but the Lean CLI cleans that up for you.
Right.
Okay. So, I hope, because I was trying to figure out what was the difference, and it was a little bit confusing. Now, it also seems like Lean CLI gives you the option to remotely control like your backtest, where you can put it on cloud or you can put it to local and do things like that. Does Lean not give you that? Because that's some of the, maybe it was some misinformation, but that's what it seems like people were saying.
Lean's just code, right? It's literal text files, C# files. So it's just sitting in GitHub and doesn't do anything. But the Lean CLI, when you run like Lean backtest, it'll run a local backtest, or you can go Lean cloud backtest.
Yes.
And it'll connect to your Quantconnect account and run the backtest there. So the idea is that you can have a local backtest running using your own data. And maybe you've got a smaller data set, so you can run locally, develop quickly. And then you go Lean cloud data backtest, and you can sort of send it to the cloud and run it across 100 servers or run it across a larger data set.
Right. Okay. And with the stuff being local, I guess, and not just automatically, I guess, funneling people through Quantconnect the whole time, right? Are you aware of, I guess, the perception that some traders believe that, if you're using, let's say you're using Trade Ideals and you have this $1 billion hedge fund or something like that, whatever the case of TradeStation, whatever one, I don't want to make any specific brand, but that stuff is kind of like stored on that website, like the algorithms and stuff like that. Were you conscious of that when you decided like, hey, we can make this local and give people more of a trusting atmosphere for whatever algorithm, whatever code, whatever backtest they're running? Was that a part of it, or?
Yeah. So we are completely aligned with our users. And after 12 years, there's been no complaints about IP theft or anything like that. Yeah. So it's kind of like, if we did steal people's ideas, they would leave us. And then we wouldn't have an ecosystem or community. So we've been very careful to segment information in the company and to automate deployments. So there's no master god mode. Like there's nobody on the team with access to like the database and that sort of thing. And it's all automatically CI'd and deployed, so that, when you get 2 people reviewing the code and then pushing it to production, then we can get it deployed to the production environments. So we've got like massive amounts of security for a tiny little company like ours. But ironically, it's actually only the small individual investors are worried about security. Like we have multi-billion-dollar family offices and hedge funds, and they don't worry about that at all. So it's like, okay, we do our best, but there's only a niche who really worry about it.
Yeah, I think you guys did a really good job, right? I think you and the team really succeeded in gaining the people's trust. I know the reason why my group originally went to Quantconnect was because we can run it locally, and we felt safe. Like if we came up with something that made us billions of dollars, it's like, well, it's on our local system. We can, we don't have to really worry about it, just someone taking it. And I think you guys did a really good job of that. So, congrats. So
So
Let's go ahead.
the other part of that, though, is that I think the pros know that it's not about an idea; it's about constant evolution. So it's like you need to be coming up with ideas every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and executing them really, really quickly. Get them to market, test it, paper trade it, live trade it, go, and then it'll start failing, and you get another one going. And so it's like there is no one idea, and people. I think the pros do that. They just constantly are iterating and deploying, testing constant. So they're not as worried about a single idea being leaked or whatever.
That's actually an interesting point that you said there. A lot of the guests who have been successful has stated that multiple times. Multiple guests have said that exact statement. It's not about one. It's about the system, the process that you have, how efficiently you can run it, how quickly you can run it, where you turn ideal to an actual live market strategy or algorithm, right? So how in tune of a trader are you these days? Are you trading at all? Like, are you, what, like, I guess, like, are you just like in the community dealing with the people that's obviously trying to make it?
I see there's somewhat of a conflict of interest. So there's like only myself and one other person who is like gold mode in the company, and so we aren't allowed to trade. But the people without client code access, they're allowed to trade their personal accounts. But I'm so busy with the company serving all those hedge funds and clients that use Quantconnect and wife and kids. I barely have time anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That makes sense. It's actually really smart, and I morally I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's fun though. I still like to play on the platform. So.
All right. Well, if you find any neat strategies, hey, send them my way. I'll take them for sure. But okay. So I want to talk about like we talked about this briefly already, but people obviously some people might move on from Quantconnect. Maybe they're looking for something else, or maybe they didn't find what they need exactly. What do you think is like one of the underutilized like parts of Quantconnect and what it offers?
Quantconnect has 3 or 4 superpowers that are basically extremely challenging to replicate anywhere else in the world, or even if you're trying to build your own stack, it's very challenging to replicate. So the first one is a comprehensive, it sounds so boring, but a comprehensive security mapping system. So just give you an idea of the problem, you've got corporate actions like IPOs, delistings, splits, dividends, mergers, acquisitions.
Yep.
And that's on the equity layer. And then you have alternative data, say the news about Facebook or the news about Meta, the same company, changing tickers over time. And then you have those mergers, those companies where there's a news about one company and then news about another company, and they merge and they continue. And so you've got alternative data, the equity data layer, and then you've got like equity options, for example. If you want to do options trading on Facebook, turning into Meta, and then have it recognized as the same security through time, and then having all the splits and dividends and corporate action data updated every single day for hundreds or thousands of securities across the market, and then a fundamental data layer. So like the P ratios of all those companies, the fundamental data for all those companies, right? And having all of that linked together and tracked and aware. So in Quantconnect, you can do things like give me the history of Facebook fundamental news, sentiment, equity option data. And it'll just arrive as a giant pandas data frame through time, through Facebook, through Meta, and just a perfectly clean data set to play with. But that's ridiculously hard. It's just so hard, and nobody does it right. And it's taken us like 6-7 years to get right, with people working on it every single day and adding different alternative data sets every single week. We're basically adding these new alternative data sets. So it's kind of like our first superpower. The other one is that we have a really powerful kind of total view margin modeling. So you can have futures, future options, FX, crypto, equities, equity options, and you throw them all into one giant portfolio. and we know exactly what your total portfolio value is. You know, you can have spreads and straddles and stuff and hedge options in your algorithm in a back test, and we have an accurate representation of your margin used and whether you would actually get a margin call on that day because the covered call didn't cover it, blah, 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 stuff like that. So that's another really, really hard problem to solve. It's a dynamic margin solver in a back test. So it's constantly solving the margin every single minute, hour, day.
I don't know any platform that has anything like that.
Nobody does that.
Wow, I actually didn't know you guys had that. Wow. No, okay.
Most of the time it's just, we're going to take this close price and multiply it by this close price times quantity.
Yeah.
And a P&L. No, it's a realistically, when you do that, the trade to trade, you miss like your drawdowns. Like if you're just taking the close to close, you're missing like the drawdown in the middle. Mm-hmm. You don't have a real idea of what your backtest was. So that margin solver. And then because we've been doing this for 10 plus years and it's all open source, now there's like this meta superpower that's emerged. And it's just that AI really knows how to write our code. So you can go to the major platforms and you can ask them to write a Quantconnect algorithm, and they're really good at writing Quantconnect algorithms because we've got 5,000 pages of documentation and tens of thousands of community examples public, and they're all scraping the website.
Ooh.
We see them like crawling the website like every single day, and they're like crashing the forum sometimes trying to download all the code. So it's like a meta emergent superpower that's coming out. And I don't know. I'm sure there's lots more, but I'll leave it at that. Those are the top three.
Okay. Those was a good three.
Yeah.
It was a strong three. Okay. So let's move on to, let's talk about some of the automation you guys have. Now, this is something I'm very interested in personally, because if I move to something like, let's just say I'm a potential customer, which I actually am, but let's just say I'm looking to move back to Quantconnect, but I want to run my algos and I want to turn them straight from whatever I'm running the algo on to and connect it to IB or whatever crypto platform I'm using, whatever futures platform I'm using. I want to connect it straight to that. Tell me about what Quantconnect has for something in that area, or what is the vision for it at least?
So Quantconnect has a unified API. So it's the same API, the same code is running in the Jupyter Research, a backtest, parameter optimization, and live trading. So the idea is that if you've got some sort of signal class, you can import it into your research notebook and do any sort of charting or correlation or anything you want in a Jupyter Research notebook. And then you can use that class in a backtesting environment. You can ask for all the historical data, or saying you can ask for warming up your algorithm or scheduling trading or placing the orders, etc., and using those signals in that backtest. And then without changing anything, you're going from there to optimization, running thousands of back tests and tuning your parameters and seeing a heat map of the sensitivity to the different parameters, and then going live. So literally without changing anything, you can go all the way through to live trading, and it'll be the market orders or the limit orders will be routed to your broker. And then when the fills happen on those trades, they come back to your algorithm and we update the portfolio state. So the algorithm doesn't actually know whether or not it's back testing or live trading. It just
runs.
It's exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So I guess with that being said, what do you typically see people's like processes for using Quantconnect in general? Like maybe they obviously they have Quantconnect and they might have Lean or Lean CLI, whichever one. But then from there, like, what do you think? Like, are they using DAS? Are they using IB? What is the optimal flow from out of Quantconnect to live trading for your community?
Yeah, I think so. Most people use the cloud to get started because it just works. And then they might want some features that we don't have in the cloud. And so they have VS Code installed on their computer, and they install our extension for VS Code. And it looks and feels exactly like the cloud, except you're running your coding on your laptop instead of coding in a browser.
Right.
And then you can have your GitHub plugin, and you can commit your code to GitHub for your version control of your algorithm or any other AI or Copilot or any other things you have running locally or any other apps from your VS Code environment. And then for once they go to trading, about 80% of the community is doing interactive brokers. And but we have a whole bunch of others. We have about 30, 40 different brokers. And then we have routing through to professional destinations as well, lots of fixed destinations. We're looking at Algorithmic this quarter. So Algorithmic should open up a whole bunch of other ones as well for the prop desks and such, including DAS, I think. I think Algorithmic goes to DAS. So
okay. I'm not sure about. Okay, that sounds.
In total, we do about 60, 70 billion in notional volume a month. And there's thousands of people hosting live trading algorithms.
Wow.
We have about 60 to 70,000 active month to month building algorithms and writing code on the platform.
Wow. Did you envision this when you first started? What was the vision when you made Quantconnect and you're like, okay, I have this hedge fund. I don't want to keep running around Chile and looking for money. I'm going to focus on the tech. What would, like, when you did that, what was the vision there in your head? Where did you see this going?
I think I did, but I did see it being something big, but I don't dwell on that day to day. Even now, I don't dwell on that day to day because it's kind of a distraction. I'm always just like, these are our clients. How can we make their lives better? Or, these are the people signing up for free to the platform. How can I help them make money? How can I help their strategies be more profitable? There was this bug in Lean. We need to fix it as fast as possible so that those people can get their strategies live again. Or, we need to simplify the API here so it's easier to use. And so every day it's just constantly making people's lives better in the community. And that compounded for 10 years is basically where we are today. But like every 4 years or so, I'll stop and I'll think about the big picture and I'll write a blog post or something, and then go back to the constant compounding method.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I like that. I like that. So just daily trying to help people out day by day, and is accumulated over time to this massive engine.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay. Nice. And then I guess I talked to Dave Mabe. Maybe you know who Dave Mabe is, and he had this really interesting idea. I thought he said when you're developing, you need to develop for what makes people more money, not exactly what makes them happy and what they're asking for. What is have you found the balance between that, or have you found that statement to be true?
Yeah, we do a lot that walks that line between I would call it building projects on vision versus building them for feedback. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like we have an idea for what people should be doing versus the feedback that they're telling us. So one example of that is we have a quant research guide in the backtest environment. And every backtest that you run, it counts down a backtest counter and says you have 97 backtests remaining. You have 96 backtests remaining. And it just counts down, and people start to freak out that they're going to run out of backtests. And so the point was to try and encourage people to do far less backtesting to try and avoid overfitting. Like, you shouldn't just be tweaking the variable, adding a new indicator, running a backtest, tweaking it again, running a backtest. Because you'll always come up with a good strategy and it'll be totally overfit and going forward. And so
that's interesting. So even I don't want to say small stuff, but even like simple stuff like that, right? That can massively improve someone. They see the ticker counting down, they're like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Like, let's go. Yeah, right. Okay. So even like edging people to like theoretically start trading is something that you looked at as a project.
Yeah, and then we deployed paper trading, of course, so they can do their back testing. They can deploy it through the paper trading. But then we also balance it. Like, a lot of our uber professional users, they're not running a strategy. They're running 30 strategies. And at the moment, for example, we've got, there's no great way to visualize 30 strategies on Quantconnect. You need like 30 tabs open on your browser. You need or a giant monitor showing them all. So we're building a dashboard now, and nobody's really asked us for it, but we see them struggling with 30 dashboards. So we're going to go and build that so they can monitor 30 strategies at once. And the other part of that is we're building AI live monitoring agents, we're calling them. And they're going to go and monitor the live algorithms that people are running. And so if you've got a position in Apple Open, it's going to be reading the news and then finding, hey, you're exposed to Apple here. We think that this is going to potentially drop in the next few hours because of this news coming out of the blah. And it'll just send people alerts automatically. So there's a mix of like vision and feedback and bugs. And,
yeah. Okay. And is that something like, is that a feature that someone has asked for? Like the AI?
No, but we see them, for example, they'll hire someone just to watch their algorithms.
Oh, wow.
Like there's people with jobs in the community just watching algorithms. So that's a great one that can be replaced by an AI. But realistically, when you do quant trading, it's not just hands off and forget. It's like you need to make sure that algos are running and doing everything.
Right. Yep. Okay. So let's move on. I want to talk about Mia here.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we've been playing with LLM since 2022. We had a chat bot called Mia in Discord and in a side terminal on Quantconnect. And until very recently, it was kind of like a one-way interaction. You prompt Mia, and Mia can sort of help you fix bugs, but you're still doing all of the coding and editing and everything else. But mid-December, we launched like Mia V2, and it's fully agentic. So it's doing everything. It's controlling the coding environment, and it is just epic to watch. So this is, for example, the IDE, the Quantconnect coding environment, and this is just a basic template that I've created here. So first we this is the new Mia V2 tab over here. And so you just sort of describe what you want the algorithm to do. So let's start with write a tick momentum strategy using the QQQ constituents. Sell when buy when there's a drop. Yeah. We'll use a 5% stop loss. And basically, Mia is now able to automatically code anything in the Quantconnect dataset and ecosystem. So she's reading the code right now. She's thinking about what to write.
That's really interesting. So you said, I think you mentioned this is something that you guys opened up 3 weeks ago, right?
So it's still brand new.
And I see it actually in the Discord has been seeing a couple of people actually using it a lot. I didn't even know it was that young of a project by just the sheer amount of people I've seen asking Mia questions.
Mia in the Discord is the Mia 1.0.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Understood. Okay.
It's basically RAG, which is documentation lookup, and like semi-intelligent responses to questions, which is really great if you're just trying to code yourself. It's fantastic. Like having our documentation is enormous. So having Mia search the docs and give you the right thing to use is still super helpful. But this is a whole other level. This is automatically coding, backtesting, analyzing the results, discovering errors in the backtest, fixing the code. I'm hands-free right now. This is all Mia. So, yeah. This is triggering some violent stop losses here. So maybe 5% wasn't a great start, but yeah. So she'll do everything else, and we'll do another iteration of this once it's done. But then really it becomes about applying your knowledge of quantitative finance, of investment principles like diversification and risk control and hedging and just finance principles. It's not about whether or not you know our API.
Right.
It's just about, what investment you want to build and what strategy you want to build.
So you kind of
Like-
see me as like a tool that can take someone who might not be exactly like the best coder or might not have the most knowledge of Quantconnect. Maybe they have a decent fundamental, but it gives them an edge in a way that they can use Mia to pretty much take the knowledge out of their heads, and Mia can put it into Quantconnect that turns the strategy and they can see if it's profitable.
Yeah.
Is that like that's like the envision for Mia 2.0? Is that, or what is the, what is the overall envision for? Is it meant just to be like this AI that can do, or this agent that can do coding, or is it meant to actually like as you just said, take people's ideas and really churn it into Quantconnect on its own?
Mia is just the vehicle. Quantconnect will enable you to take any idea you have and bring it to reality as fast as possible. And it's able to do that because we have vast amounts of data and 10 years of a robust API. So, for example, instead of here we've got add the universe of the QQQ constituents. So that's about 100 assets that is added, and it's a changing constituent list of 100 stocks every day. So whoever's in the QQQ ETF, that's the universe of stocks that arrive here. But with the AI, all it needs to do is write one line of code, these 2 lines of code here, and it gets all of that data and all of that intelligence delivered to this algorithm. But if you were to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, download the QQQ constituents and build a changing universe, and every day update a list of tickers, and then download all of that data, and just that job alone would take weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the AI can just write like a couple lines of code, get it right, and move on to the next thing and start worrying about alpha and strategy and all the rest. So it's super exciting. And this is just going to keep building and building, especially as like the models become more intelligent. And at the moment, the interface is still like a GUI and code, but maybe the code will fade away and become more of a GUI, and it will just be describing what you want to the AI. And maybe put on a holodeck and you'll be waving your hands around.
Yeah.
Lots of fun things. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Okay.
So we can say, okay, maybe this is the performance isn't that great. Performance isn't great. Perf isn't great. Improve it. So we can push it to improve the performance.
Wow. Just ask it. Not even suggest what to do, just ask it, huh? Okay. Removing the stop loss, increasing holdings to 20 stocks for better diversification, adding volume and volatility filters, use 3-month momentum, more response, okay, and implementing volatility weighted position sizing. Wow.
Let's see.
I guess, what is your overall thoughts on AI for this space in general?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I think there's a lot of potential, and it will still require some human review and oversight. So I'm glad this happened. So this is a bug that Mia wrote. So now Mia has to go fix her bug, and hands-free again. So I just let her fix her bug while we talk about AI. So essentially, though, you still need someone to verify it at the moment. So I still see humans in the loop, especially with sensitive stuff like capital markets for a wee while, at least. If I was to be deploying this code live, I'd still want to come in here and read the code that she's writing and make sure it's actually following the trading logic that I would like. And just like any other quant strategy, you should come in and you should look at the trades. You should see exactly what trades were performed and how and why they're performed.
Yep.
A lot of people are just, they're a little lazy about that. And they just look at the back test on a big level and they say, it's not doing what I want. And it's like, you really have to go to each trade. Like, why did it make this trade? AI isn't quite there yet, but we're working on it too. We're working on things to analyze the back tests and analyze the trades and see if there's a corresponding connection to the strategy that was planned versus the trades that were executed. So it's just time. We just keep adding these improvements and AI will get really, really good. That was our original. So this peaked at 130K, pretty much flat. So that's good so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the starting equity looks like it's 100K, and then the last one got to 130, ended up, I guess, for what was the time? It looks like the year. Yeah, it was like about a year.
Just a 2-year back test. Yeah.
Okay, 2-year back test. Okay.
We have data. We have data back to 1998.
That's a lot of data.
Yeah. Just for iteration, it's good for the AI to backtest on a short window, so it can fix bugs quickly and then do a long backtest at the end.
Oh wow!
Cool.
Got a huge jump right there.
We must have called NVIDIA. There's some sort of merger there. Nice. So multiple days. That's cool. But yeah, as I was mentioning, you definitely want to, with AI, you always want to put some human review on it, go see what it's doing.
Yeah. So when you see that huge bar there, you go check that out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. Like with applying like a diverse universe, you can use our fundamental data to select a universe of assets based on fundamental data value, and then some risk control or momentum, and then volatility metrics. You can say, like, look at the volatility. It'll measure the volatility of each asset and invest in low volatility assets. You can quickly come up with a relatively high Sharpe strategy. It's relatively easy. But yeah, no, it's super exciting. This is what we're passionate about. And now we're launching something called strategies. So it's brand new, but we're letting the community publish algorithms that they've created. And it's going to be in this giant collection of strategies. And my vision for this is something where you'll be able to pull them in, like factors, into your algorithm or a data set or something like that. Or at the very least, you'll be able to learn from the code and inspect things and see how people are doing things. And then it'll automatically be ranked by the recent performance. So you can go and get like the top performance. Yeah, so it should be fun.
That is very interesting. I wouldn't think people would be that open with their strategies to just, especially like if you had the top rank run and everyone just ran it. Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. So it's like almost just like pretty much like a blog of just strategies, and it's actually being tracked by Quantconnect in live. And then it's going to get ranked live. So it's almost like a Kinfo for, if you know what Kinfo is, it's almost like a Kinfo. So Kinfo is just like for individual traders. It like tracks their returns pretty much. But this is like Kinfo for individual strategies. And it ranks it. Like, that's really cool, man.
Nice.
You guys are doing, wow. I mean, you guys are doing some great stuff here. But I'll definitely have to check this out. This is like a great resource.
And you can see, like, here we go. This one was published out of sample in March 2025. So it's got some out of sample track record there. And a bunch of them are done by our Quant team, where we publish research. But then there's, we've been around 10 years. So people have been publishing algorithms to the community for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so all of those algorithms we can pull into a strategy list like this. Or you can find them in the community forum if you just search through the forum and find them. But we're trying to pull them out and then give the authors credit. So these are, being made by these people.
Right.
And our hope is that it'll highlight them and highlight their work, and maybe they can see opportunities from it. You can, people talk about who they are in their club and put their LinkedIn profile there to meet people and to see what comes of it. So we have a lot of students and academics on the platform. Mm-hmm. So it's a great way for them to develop their skill set and to raise their profile, like get exposure and get a job offer or an internship, because it's quite a brutal industry. So
that makes sense. So this is just it's a good route, not only to make money and obviously do testing, but also build a career. Okay. So Jared, you got a lot of stuff going here, right? You've been at it for a couple of years, right? Obviously this is a massive project, a massive tech project. It's turned into multiple different things. What is the vision for the next, short term, 2-3 years? Where do you think you're going?
We are going to continue open sourcing, building broker connections, building data sets, deep support for AI, deep support for like visual building with Quantconnect. And I feel like it's just the same. It's like building layer upon layer upon layer, getting better and better and better, because people don't want to be trapped into a limited data set. They want infinity data sets available in Quantconnect. So we need to go and pull in all of those different data sets and things. So yeah, we've got the strategies collection coming up, and you'll be able to pull it in for factors and pull in those factors to your algorithm. And then the AI is going to start contributing factors. We've got an AI which generates ideas, investment ideas, and another AI which is writing code, and another AI which is monitoring algorithms. So we're just going to have the AI generate ideas, another one code them, and then publish them to the strategies list, just in an infinite loop. And it'll be like 20 strategies a day, new ones published to the strategies collection.
Gotcha.
It's going to be bananas. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I like the sound of that. So yeah, man. I mean, definitely made a believer out of me. I'll definitely be checking Quantconnect again soon. Honestly,
good.
You know,
hope so.
So, that's gonna wrap up this episode, guys. This is episode 7 with Jared. Once again, owner and creator of Quantconnect. You can definitely tell he has a real passion for it, and he's really trying to improve you guys' lives one day at a time, step by step, problem by problem. And he's even adding AI so you guys can think less. So, with that being said, Jared, this is a really interesting episode. Quantconnect's amazing, honestly. And do you have any final words?
No, check us out, quantconnect.com. There's a free tier, and yeah, just start there. We have an educational portal. I still recommend learning yourself. Even if the AI is good, you should still try to learn how to use Quantconnect, just so you can understand what the AI is doing. So when you sign in, you come to this academic hat here, and then go into bootcamp. So bootcamp, we've put 100,000 people through bootcamp, and it'll guide you step by step, literally line by line, learning our API from buy and hold to like portfolio construction and sentiment analysis and hard quant topics. So start there if you can, and then you can jump into letting the AI do things and analyzing what it's doing. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it.
One last question before you go. Do you think Quantconnect has any type of weakness that would, I guess, need like a supplemental platform or API or anything like that?
It's basically data. We don't have international equities because there just isn't enough people interested in international equities to make it worthwhile adding. And so we're in liquid US markets right now. We've got 12 asset classes, something like that. But we'll probably never get to all the markets in the world. So if you want to trade French derivatives, we're not going to be there for another 5 years. So there's stuff like that where we just have to sort of do the 80-20 rule for this. And I suppose it's a really large API. So it's hard to understand how powerful it is. But I feel like that weakness is now going away with AI.
Yeah, with Mia, right.
Because you don't need to know everything anymore. But yeah, we'll see. Any weakness I try to fix immediately.
I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all right, Jared, I'm going to let you go. I'm sure you're busy, got things to do. I had a great time learning about Quantconnect, and I'm very interested, and I can tell you're very passionate about this project. So thank you from me and from everyone else in the community. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Marcus. Pleasure to be here. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.